So, Faceless Haven has quickly become my favorite card out of the new set. I'm a sucker for creature lands, and this creature land is pretty good. Um, Mutavault is widely considered one of the most efficient creature lands in terms of mana in to damage out, and Faceless Haven is even more efficient than Mutavault. Faceless Haven here, because it has Vigilance, means you spend 3 mana to attack for 4 damage, whereas Mutavault is a card that requires you to spend 2 mana to attack for 2 damage. So in terms of raw rate, if you're able to meet the snow mana requirement for this, Faceless Haven is very good at pushing damage and playing defense for its stat line. This deck is a blue-black snow control deck. So in addition to Faceless Haven being a snow payoff, we've got some copies of Graven Lore here as a piece of card advantage at the top end of our curve. This card's been really impressive in a lot of the other decks that we've played, and I would really love to find a deck that plays 4 copies of Graven Lore for Saturday. The other snow payoffs that we have are Ascendant Spirit here down at the bottom end of the curve as a finisher / threat. We've got some Priest of the Haunted Edge here as a removal spell that turns into a repeated removal spell with our Rhyme Staff here. So we don't have any green lands, so we're playing this card here purely for its backside. You can activate it to put a snow permanent from your graveyard onto the battlefield tapped if you can recast it. So this makes Priest of the Haunted Edge a repeatable piece of removal. It also lets us bring back Ascendant Spirit as well as a cheeky copy of Icebreaker Kraken if we want a slightly larger threat in the late game. Once we get into the extremely late game, along with Rhyme Staff, Icebreaker Kraken should be as little as 2 mana to bring back into play from our discard pile over and over again. We've got tools like Heartless Act, Bloodchief's Thirst, Nightmare, Soul Shatter, and Extinction Event to help keep us alive. And I'm playing a couple copies of Ravenform here, because notably, this is a blue card that can exile an artifact. So while black has a variety of good hard removal for creatures, this being an answer to things like Henge as well as Embercleave seems like it's something that my control deck's definitely interested in doing. So let's go ahead and dive on into some games with this and see how it feels today. I saw some folks using the survey command already this morning. My first sub survey for 2021 is out. I appreciate everybody that takes a couple minutes to do that. It's just 5 multiple choice questions and then an optional fill in the blank if you want to give me some longer form written feedback. But just takes a couple of minutes to do. It's like I've got about 400 people fill it out already, and I currently have about 1,800 subs, so it'd be nice to get that closer to match. Usually if we get like 50 to 60% participation on that, I'm pretty happy. Well, I mean, that's certainly a start to the morning. Oh, right. And then when it says there's a draw, it says click to continue down here, but that's actually a lie. So you actually have to restart the client when you get the draw screen currently. It's a solid feature. Okay, welcome back to Magic Arena, Jeff. Oh. this might be wrong to keep. I don't have a third land. This isn't a snow mana to pump this up. Nailed it. Never didn't have it. So if we brick on a snow mana next turn, we can play the Rime Staff tap. Or play the Rime Staff out. Hey, thanks for taking a second to do that, Seth. These are my only non-snow lands in the deck. I have four pathways for fixing for our colors. It could be. I need to double check the counts. I could maybe get away with 2 to 3 pathways to have less awkward starts like this. And I think if they like block plus stomp this, that's a huge win for us, right? I think that's what they plan to do. We have the Rime Staff here, so it's just like whatever. Step on it. Is this the blue-black deck from yesterday? I'm not sure what you mean by from yesterday. We didn't play a blue-black deck yesterday. We played a blue-green deck, and we played a Bant deck yesterday. As always, if you forget what we played, you can check out the archives on the YouTube channel. Well, that's just rude. Rough. I'm gonna foretell this rather than pumping this up. If they want to step on this, I have the Rime Staff to bring it back anyways. I think it's pretty important that I hit some land drops next turn. As always, you can find our current deck list on your overlay or by typing !deck in chat to get a direct link. I guess direct link isn't accurate. A link to all of my decks is more accurate. Pretty far off of that one. I think I double bottom just digging for our artifact removal for this. There's a chance I have a Sultai deck built as well that gets to play Binding of the Old Gods. This is probably what we need to be doing. Thanks for the 11 months, Real Honeywell. I appreciate that. Welcome back. This is the part where we get cleaved and die. Yeah, there were people cutting Ember Cleave from this deck for some reason, and those people are definitely very silly. I have no idea why people are cutting Ember Cleave from that deck. Seems like a huge mistake. I have an old YouTube video. Yeah, there we go. Hypergeometric distribution calculator. We definitely want my extra Ravenform against the Henge deck. I think we want to leave some strokes. I think this type of matchup is one where you don't want to bring in the extra strokes from the board, and you don't want to bring in the extra strokes from the board, but you don't want to cut the ones in the main, because while they don't have a ton of targets for strokes, the targets they do have for stroke are really high impact. Probably don't need a ton of Ascendant Spirits either. Just go down on win conditions like Ugin, Icebreaker, and my Faceless Havens. Mostly just be an answer deck. I guess Priest is a little slow. I should update that video. Why? What's wrong with it? Is the information in it bad? I know it's an old video, but like using a hypergeometric distribution calculator hasn't changed in the last 5 years. Sure. We're just foretelling this. This has foretell as well. These are both cards that you can foretell, and they get cheaper with it. So I think we just want to kill the Innkeeper on site. All I know is every time I play against this Naya deck, it comes down to basically what it comes down to every other time I play against deck that can have Cleave, where I end up in a situation where it's basically, hey, if they have Cleave, I'm in a bad spot, and if they don't have Cleave, we're fine, and it's not a big deal. So I don't... Cutting Cleave doesn't seem stellar to me from that perspective. It is a scotch awkward that the birds turn on the Lovestruck Beast. That being said, this is a matchup where, generally speaking, you want to be killing the Lovestruck Beast anyways. Because they have Henge in their deck, so like you don't want the Lovestruck Beast to be in play to begin with. I played this deck before. Nope. I've not. As always, everything I play ends up on the YouTubes. If you ever have a question of what have we played or not in the past, you can always check there.
A world of monsters. This is beauty lies in variation.
So we're at a point now where we've won for one a little bit. We're a little bit behind on board. We're basically waiting for a Graven Snow to be able to gas back up. This is actually really good for us because it's It's another even cost thing, so we can play this Extinction Event next turn and just not feel bad about it. Even Stevens chat. What's going on, Omnom? Yeah, as a heads up, I know my schedule's been super hectic the last year and change because of the world. But moving forward, this is gonna be my new normal start time. So we've been live by 7 a.m. every day this week. Do we play 2 different strokes arcs? Yeah, we got different strokes for different folks. Ewok Slayer, thank you for the 28 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. This is the danger of having these types of cards in our deck. I mean, release the Kraken, right? Has a text box that doesn't really do anything. If they take this opportunity to stick Henge, I've got Ravenform. It's a little unfortunate. Yeah, and their card that drew 4 cards, drew a card that draws cards, yo dog. It's a shame. It's a shame if these had been, I might be right to try this deck without the pathways, honestly. If these had been Snowlands, I would have been able to play this while holding Disdainful Stroke up this turn, and we would have been in a real good spot, huh? Yeah, it doesn't tap anything. It lets their lands untap. Like, I don't understand why this wasn't more pushed. It makes me sad that this wasn't more pushed. I have one of them because bringing it back with the staff over and over again in the late game seems like a good finisher. But yeah, in general, this card's not great. I wanted one of them to be able to occasionally draw as a cheap recurable threat. Morning, Navier. Yeah, Twitch solved their issue yesterday afternoon. There's a good chance this build's not playable. Want to play a couple matches, but that didn't feel particularly inspiring. Having to play the awkward artifact, the awkward 3-mana exile an artifact doesn't seem particularly great. If this ends up feeling like poop soup. I've got a Sultai deck as well that I want to try. Felt like I wanted to try straight blue-black for good measure to say that we had poked into it. Alright, rematch. Let's do it. I imagine we're going to play against a lot of Edge Keepers over the course of the next little bit. I don't even know what I'm looking for with the Scry. I guess I'm kind of looking for lands, kind of. Not really in a rush to do anything with this. Am I going to play any Jund? No, I don't have any Jund built out that seems reasonable at this current point in time. Yeah, I definitely think from a competitive standpoint, it seems like a lot of other people gave up working on new ideas sooner. But honestly, from a brewing perspective, it's as someone who like actually wants to work on competitive ideas, it's actually easier it's better in terms of building good decks to have your opponents playing things that are actually good. Like, I would much rather slam my new deck idea that I'm working on into Naya and Yori in a bunch to find out if it's actually competitive, rather than playing my bad idea against other people playing bad ideas. Like, I don't learn if my deck's actually competitive against the good deck by playing against other bad crews. Going to scry on our upkeep to try and find a land here. Nice. Nailed it. Okay, so we've got Spirit. Yes, we do. This card also might not be very good. This is a card I'm not playing in the Soul type build. It's probably right to not be playing it, honestly. It's just such a tough squeeze. Like, the fact that these decks play Giant Slayer means that it dies. Maybe it's fine in other matchups, so I just board it out here. But this one's definitely felt only okay here. Not famous. Thank you for the entire year of support. I really appreciate the prime. Welcome back. Deal. We've only played Blue-Red Flash in terms of Izzet decks so far. Bottom that one for now. I don't think we're quite ready for that yet. I have a Blue-Red Giants build built out, but I don't think that we're going to end up getting to that before this weekend. So I've got other decks that I want to try. I don't think Blue-Red Giants is likely to be something that I play in the tournament on Saturday, so most of my decks for the next couple of days are going to stick to things that I think I could see myself playing there. Yeah, Warden of the First True is super playable. Kraken looking a lot more playable when all of our lands are snow lands. Haste is cheating, something like that. This gives them an opening to play Henge. Wow! Toski enabling Lovestruck Beast is not one I've seen, but that's kind of hot. They might just be straight green-red. I feel like they probably don't have room for this in a two-color deck, right? Or in a three-color build. It's indestructible. Ooh. That feels like crap, but it's the play, chat. Might be okay. Huh? So if I Kraken this turn to keep their things tapped, the problem is Kraken dies the following turn because it has to attack and then it's going to deal damage to itself. I think I have to do that though, right? I think I have to keep their stuff tapped here. Can always return it again. Nope, definitely can't. We might not recover from the tempo loss from the first time we returned it to our hand. And cards like this, like, always make me wonder, like, why don't they, like, can't this just be pushed a little bit? Couldn't it tap creatures when it comes into play? Like, why do I have to return 3 lands to my hand to bring it back? So there's so many little numbers that could change on here to make it this much closer. Yeah, it should have probably been a sleep effect. Or it could have been cheaper. It's like so many different details. Pushing cards is only legal for 3 CMC cards. looking at the last year, it feels that way. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If I had 10 mana right now, we'd be in an okay spot, but I had to tempo myself to hell and back for this. If we had 3 more lands in play, I could Graven Lore and still have a bunch of mana left. Yeah, I don't know, like, why could, or if you didn't want it to tap creatures when it comes into play, make it so their lands don't untap. By the time you're casting this card on turn 6 at the earliest, you should get to time walk their lands for a turn. It's not unreasonable. Is Soul Shatter and Pump Spirit good? I don't even know if pumping it's good, because, like, they have Lovestruck Beast that has to chump block. The Soul Shatter kills based on CMC, not power. I mean, what is animating the land do? I don't really want to lose another land. I'm pretty sure I lose on that tempo exchange. Yeah, I shouldn't have pumped this. Pumping this was wrong. I gave them a treasure token I didn't have to give them. It's fine. I think we're dead. It is a very smug-looking dragon. You're not wrong. This triggers for every creature? Holy crap. And like, there's other things, right? There's designs like this where like, who decided that this gets to draw a card for every creature that hits them? And then there's the blue-white saga. The blue-white saga that lets you draw one card if you hit them with multiple flying creatures. Like, I was excited to try and build blue-white flyers because of that 3-mana saga. And I was like, oh, sweet, you could, like, play a bunch of cheap 1-mana flyers and then, like, draw a bunch of cards on turn 4. But that's not what the card does. You only get to draw one card, period, regardless of how many you hit them with. Yeah, we're just dead here. Like, just good showing of the Kraken just being bad, right? And some extra removal. This is probably another leave the strokes in that I have, but don't board an extra matchup. Spirit just seems really bad in all the creature matchups. I'm gonna plan to kill them with these, plus this. We make it that far. Bowerstein, thanks for the 10 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. The 6-mana Wrath be underwhelming for this deck. I don't think it solves any of the problems that we have. Like, 6 mana is way too slow. I don't know that I don't think blaming EDH is right for the balance issues that Magic has had in Standard. Like, you look at the cards, like, I think if you pull up the list of cards that are banned in Standard from Eldraine right now, I don't think any of them would really classify as EDH cards. I think, like, the Squirrel card this opponent's playing is, like, almost assuredly an EDH card, but, like, that card's hardly busted, right? It's, like, more pushed. And when it wasn't even like, when I was talking about the blue-white saga versus the Squirrel, I wasn't saying that the Squirrel is too good. What I was saying is that the Squirrel has a design that's very different than this other one, and I wish that the weaker card was brought up in power level. While there's definitely been some obvious misses in terms of too strong cards, like things like Oko and, Uro and the easy point outs like that. I honestly think a lot of Magic's balance issues from a format diversity standpoint likely come from the fact that they make too many cards intentionally bad. So like things where it's like I think if you had like a really easy example of a card that was intentionally made bad and could be made better without breaking anything is the party land from last set in Zendikar. Why does the land that tapped for rainbow mana for clerics, rogues, warriors, or whatever the fourth type is, wizard, I think, why does that come into play tapped? Like, there's no way that card breaks anything if it just comes into play untapped. It doesn't, even changelings don't break anything. Like, look at the list of changelings. Is having slightly better mana fixing for changelings gonna ruin the game? Not even close. Soul Shatter's great. I don't know that this deck is good, but I definitely think this card's good. I've been playing this in the Sultai deck as well. And we're gonna try after this one. The fact that, like, this kills Bone Crusher without taking damage, it kills Goldspan without giving them a treasure. So I get to Stroke plus Shatter here, and then unfortunately, we're on empty, so we're just waiting on one of our card advantage spells. I don't know what fire design's supposed to mean exactly. I feel like what fire design ended up doing was it ended up giving us a small number of very pushed cards as opposed to bringing the power level of everything up uniformly. Which is what I would like to see. They made like the top better as opposed to making the bottom less bad. Faceless Haven is very good. My goal for Saturday is to find a 4 Faceless Haven deck to play. I would really like to just play 4 of this creature landed something. Hey Ziggs, thanks for the 16 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. So like, I think that's a jaded and bad outlook, Lampton. I don't even know that you like sell more packs by intentionally having cards be bad. I mean, pushed cards in general sells more packs, but I don't know that there's any consistent logic behind saying only having a small number of pushed cards results in more sales. Like, why do you think having a bunch of bad cards results in more sales? Can you explain that to me? Because I don't understand that at a glance. Nah, I'm not a big fan of what the mono green food decks look like. The mono green food decks all look like poop against the other more card advantage decks in the format. Things like Naya and the various Yorion piles just step all over the mono green decks from what I've seen. Yeah, if they peel the red, Extinction Event lets us just say odd. Tough mana base. Hello. You know what I love, chat? I love when my dig through time draws another dig through time. It's my favorite. This card actually sees more cards than Dig Through Time when you scry 5, right? You'd potentially see 8 cards if you bottom all of them. Well, you know, we got to do the thing at least once. Solidly in garbage time here at this point. Jareth! Thank you for the 15 months, and thank you for the very generous tier 2. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Oh, did I miss lethal? That's fine. If I killed them this turn, I'd have to stop drawing cards, and that would be sad. Yeah, map your sideboarded. Let's turn it back. See, chat, Graven Lore. I want to play 4 of them because it's busted. Yeah, it's funny. I did a double take on my overlay elements this morning because I had some mouth breather comment on one of my YouTube videos that my ad banners were too intrusive and it made my Magic content unwatchable. And I was like, doing a double take, I was like, nope, yep, ad banners definitely don't cover anything relevant to gameplay. I guess right here, the chat and this one covers the starting cards in my hand. Is that the only thing it does? Because like the rest of it, right? Like this one on the left doesn't even cover their lands. It's under their mana base. And the bottom right one, I guess the bottom right one covers the pass turn button. Maybe they feel like they need to see the pass turn button. So if I move if the left banner goes up when my opponent has a bunch of lands in play, it covers their lands. So you can see how their lands start inching over to the left as they add more to the battlefield. Yeah, and if I put it below chat, it starts inching over onto my lands. I mean, honestly, a bunch of answers and 4 Faceless Haven sounds like a decent deck idea. I'm not opposed to that. I will say, as someone who's put a ton of thought into the positioning of the ad banners on his stream, it does annoy me when I open a stream and someone else who's streaming Magic Arena and their overlay elements cover relevant game things, because like there's so much dead space on. Like, there's so much space you can use on the arena screen to position overlays where they won't cover stuff, that, like, to end up having them cover stuff, I almost feel like you have to go out of your way. People often like to put game overlay elements right here, and they end up covering the stack. Or they position their web camera on the left over here where it covers their lands instead of pulling it up slightly. We're just passing here, huh? Will Heartless Act or Soul Shatter their Love-Struck Beast and take 2 in combat? I do think having chat on my screen makes the overall overlay a little bit busy, because the chat is kind of big, but I also think having the chat on screen adds value to the YouTube content, because people like to be able to read comments that I'm responding to. So that's a piece of clutter that I feel is worthwhile. Yeah, I don't have the chat on screen for the variety stuff because variety games on average don't have as much dead space as card games do. It's just tough to fit it up there without overlapping something meaningful. The chat on screen also has some value for, I think I keep the extra card draw in the removal spell here. The chat on screen has value for some Twitch watchers too. As someone who, when I'm watching Twitch, probably 75 to 90% of my Twitch watching is via a Chromecast. And when I'm watching via Chromecast, I definitely prefer to have the chat on screen. This is -5 right now, right? If I could do this, and then we can Extinction Event. Get rid of all these. Feels like we're into garbage time at this point with my hand. It's gonna be a while before they lose, but I don't think our opponent can get back into this one. Sure. Garrick and Lumese, if you're still here, thanks for the follows. Welcome to the channel. Soul Shattering this. I feel like I could go to 5, right? This is going to gain me some life here in a minute. I guess I could do this and then draw a card with this. It's probably fine. What's the win condition of our deck? 4 Faceless Haven. And by that, I mean my deck contains 4 Faceless Haven on the off chance I haven't completely destroyed my opponent's will to live after double digits worth of turns. Oh, I should have done this first, huh? Essentially, when you're playing a deck like this, if your opponent still has a desire to play Magic after your match, you probably messed up. Oh no! Don't take my O4! How will I ever recover now? Joke's on you, opponent. I boarded out all the cards this was good against. Oh, I guess they can sacrifice these technically, right? They could technically like use these on themselves. Hey, look, chat. There's another win condition. Chaos Orb, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Yeah, I forgot I put Ugin in the deck. Alright, opponent. I just scryed 4 to the top, opponent. You let me know if you're still interested in playing.
Not my flames.
You can see it at any time.
Beyond perception.
Don't let me tell you how to live your life, though. They forgot to sacrifice this, and it's only at sorcery speed, so I actually get my Priest of the Haunting Edge back. Haha, silly opponent. Didn't know what Priest of the Haunted Edge does. Joke's on you. Didn't know standard staple Priest of the Haunted Edge. Got him. Oh no! How will we ever beat the second Accroded War? Oh no! Not my one weakness. Third, sorry, yeah, third. Great. I don't even want to activate this, right? I'm gonna have to discard the hand size if I do.
Consider this a warning.
Alright, fine. I'm gonna kill my own thing just to make you feel like your card accomplished something. This is the point of the game where if I was playing paper Magic, I would just put my hand face up on the table and just be like, we can keep playing this game, but you're allowed to concede at any point. We can go get lunch. At what point are we attacking? Probably next turn. We can kill him next turn, right? We got 3 Faceless Havens. Maybe they want to kill us with clock damage. I put on 17 minutes on their clock. Oh, I do only have 9 minutes on my clock. That's fair. I've been playing very slowly. I didn't realize how slowly we've been playing. My friend. All right, so these games convinced me that the Kraken and the return a snow card from my discard pile, that these things are bad and we should just be an Ugin deck. Believe it or not, my control deck should just be an Ugin deck. Okay, so I think I like the Snow sub-theme and the Priest. I think I want to get rid of these. Yeah, in Paper Magic, you can turn your hand face up at any point. You are always allowed to give your opponent information that you have access to. It's completely legal and fine. Elspeth's Nightmare is a card that impresses me more and more the more I play with it in this format. It just does a lot. I did see some people playing that. I could see, I thought about playing that card. Shadow's Verdict is potentially, someone asked me about the 6-mana sweeper, and 6 is pretty slow. But this card could be playable. Exiling Kroxa is big game. I don't know that if I like this more than Extinction Event though. I don't hate putting some in the board. I've got one more slot here in the main deck. It honestly could just be the fourth Elspeth's Nightmare. I don't hate that. It's like a piece of removal that also has play against the control deck still. I could also see like some, if I'm playing less creatures, I could see some copies of like Negate being playable here. Or maybe we just go deeper down the Foretell rabbit hole and we play some Sod Cummings. You think Extinction Event's important? I don't know. I actually think the sweepers are kind of whatever. In general, this format has so many must-answer threats that I think having spot removal and ways to 1-for-1 is more important than sweepers on average. I think you need some sweepers to play catch-up on occasion, but I think in general, there's a lot of things like Edgewall Innkeeper, for example, that you have to kill on sight, and you can't leave them sitting around. Another Godby. Okay, now I don't really want any more win conditions. I'm pretty sure 4 Faceless, 3 Ugin is plenty of win condition. Jeff is using 2 different stroke cards. Yeah, you need different strokes for different folks, shit. Good players play Innkeeper plus Beast the same turn. That's not always strictly true, and it's rude to insult people and imply that they're bad if they're making a play that's different than that. Like, that's something Magic players do all the time that's awful, is like, there aren't really heuristics like that in Magic that always apply. Sometimes it's correct to do what you're suggesting, but not all of the time. Cyan Near, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Maybe keeping the 2-land double Ugin hand was wrong. I got 3 pieces of removal. Let's find out together, huh? Do-do-do-do-do-do. Our deck is playing 27 lands. And I have 4 Mazemind Tomes to scry with, but this is probably supposed to be a mulligan. This is what happens when you play too many win conditions. They get clumped up in your hand. That's the ramp deck. Okay. Glad I just put 2 Negates into my sideboard. BT Dubs, thank you to the subs that took a minute out of their day to fill out my sub survey. Looks like we've had about 20 people do that since we went live this morning. Hey, look, and there's another. If you're new to the channel or haven't haven't filled out one of my sub-surveys before, it's not like a typical corporate survey. It's 5 multiple choice questions and an optional fill-in-the-blank box. Very, very quick to fill out. Good morning, Jacob. You had a good dream? You had a dream about Lego ninjas. That's so cool.
Yeah, this is my big game. Okay, what's called?
You want to get that game? I don't know what it's called.
Let's see what it's called.
Shoot and break the bricks. I don't see an install button, dude.
Go, but
Oh, there we go. You already have it loaded. Got it. Ask in person. It's rated E for everyone. I think you're included in everyone. Enjoy.
Daddy.
Looking for lands. Nailed it. Usually I look at responses to the survey for like the next week or so, Paula. Usually like all the percentages from the multiple choice questions are pretty set in stone after like historically speaking, people, the way the percentages are gonna line up are usually decided after the first like 400 to 500 responses. They don't really move meaningfully as more get added, and if that makes sense. But I'll keep looking at the free answer responses for a week or two in case there's any late stragglers. Sometimes there's really good feedback in there on things I hadn't thought about. I think I'm drawing a card with this, huh? At this point. Speaking of, let's do that now.
Consider this a warning.
Was that a good draw? If so, why? Please explain. It is currently 8 a.m. cornfield time where I reside. Kick it. Wait, Mystic disputed here. I'm gonna be real tilted that I drew first. Into the Royal. Wow, that's gross. Bounce their Ugin. That's just rude. So... Huh. I think I'm just trading Ugin for Shark Typhoon here.
An opportunity to act rashly is a chance to fail.
Any spells they'd play in response to your Ugin would also exile the sharks from those. And this is gonna die into their Ugin or like a Bone Crusher Giant Stomp here, but that's whatever.
I learned much today.
Got me. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
My flames beyond perception. is the path. Do not ignore my draconic talents.
This matchup is just an Ugin slap fight. That's what it looks like so far, yeah.
Destroy if I must.
This play is gonna seem a little odd, but I think we have to make it. I did see Corey's Just Guy list. I agree, it looks sweet.
Perception.
Hey, Crackpipe Kid. Thanks for the 14 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Oh no, not my Ugin. How will I ever replace that?
Muscle cannot. Death has never stopped me.
Hey, chat, you ready to dig through snow here? Uh-oh. Uh-oh! Uh-oh! Ten. Shoot. Okay, so how about this? How about if we Ravensform this, and then we Extinction Event, exile the tokens, and then... Crunch.
You disturb this world's balance.
Oh, it kills my Faceless Haven. Yeah, I guess that doesn't say non-land, right? It's just creatures. It's a good thing to think about. Somewhere in my mind, I knew that. Wow! Got by the counter unless we pay one. Brutal. Brutal. Four mana? Wow, they're playing counter spells too. Okay. On to the next game here. I was not expecting actual factual counter spells out of them. Let's trim these priests. Let's trim these Extinction Event. Let's trim these Ravenform. That's probably correct, Seth. I can see that. What's the next deck? I haven't decided yet. Another deck with 4 Faceless Haven in it. Probably don't need 4 Heartless Act. I'd rather have the extra... Rather Heartless Act or the extra Elspeth's Nightmare. The discard of this... Yeah, I'm basically playing this as Suspend 1 Duress. Maybe the 4th Heartless Act is better than the 4th Suspend 1 Duress. Especially if they're going to have Foretold counterspells. Hey, thanks for the 14 months, Disoriental. I appreciate that. Glad to have you here for all of it. Sure. The passage out in case we continue to draw snowlands here. We continue to hit snowlands, we'll be able to scry more with Graven Lore when we play it eventually. We played the blue-red flash is it Snow Deck. Fumarole also is not good. I agree with that conclusion. I think that's a bad limited card. I think if you want a 3-mana damage spell, you are much better off. I think I'm actually just gonna play Graven Lore at sorcery speed here and guarantee it resolves. I don't think they have anything at 5 mana that I'm too scared of. Like, most things they can do for 5, I can, like, Bloodchief's Thirst, then still hold up Negate. Like Gargoth, I think, is their scariest play here. That's, like, annoying in the short term, but, like, not a big deal long term. Ugin to deal with that eventually. To be fair, Hidden Flames, they only complained my Runeterra content was too competitive. They didn't say anything about my magic stuff. I had someone comment on my YouTube channel that the reason why they thought my Runeterra content wasn't more popular was because my content was too competitively focused. Because they can't comprehend the fact that Runeterra is a new game, and the reason why it's not popular is because it's a new game that doesn't have a large viewer base. I agree, Socio Penguin. If anything, I think my Runeterra content would be more popular if I was more competitively focused. Most of the Runeterra content creators that are bigger than me have a competitive slant. I think we actually negate this based on what their hand looks like right now. They really need a second red. And I get to untap and play Ugin this turn and get rid of this. Poker face, poker face, my. So if they untap and rip a red source here, we could be in trouble. Oh wait, they need triple blue too, right? Yeah, they're 2 lands off of casting this at least. I don't know that swims full spike, but like, yeah, all the top rune tier people are like people that play in Masters consistently. I don't like to tell other people what they are or aren't. It was just a bizarre comment. Yeah, BBG definitely is. All right, so I think we cast my Graven Lore now because we could find discard spells in addition to counter spells. I think I'm in the market for Soul Shatter here. Obviously, I'd like a Negate or a Disdainful Stroke, but I think this is a decent consolation prize if we miss on either of those. Hello, oldest son.
Mommy's sick. Mommy's sick.
Mommy's sick. You not feeling well? Your mom needs help?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll be right back. I need to go check in on my wife. Come on. Forgetting me.
Bye.
Wake up. Get out of there now. You can't be in there now.
Ghost fire, my greatest creation.
See, chat, plenty of win conditions.
Unutilized knowledge is rotting fruit.
She's fine. Jacob is an overly concerned 6-year-old. I'm glad he cares about his mother.
If I must.
Alright, I think I'm happy with how I boarded. Let's run it back. Yeah, seems pretty good, right? We get to go Murky, Duress on 1, Island, Foretell on 2, tapped land cast on 3. Huh? I think it's the Shark Typhoon? I think it's the Shark Typhoon. As someone who's played an unhealthy amount of Magic for a very long time, I've never heard the name Dave used to describe a Magic player before either. Easy double bottom here. Looking for some counter spells. This is a saw it coming for reference. I replaced Kraken with. You can find the current deck list on the overlay or by typing !deck in chat and getting a link. In fact, new rule. People that have been here long enough to get mod swords, I'm gonna time you out when you ask for the deck list from now on. It's gonna be the new rule. You've been here long enough. You've been here at least 12 months. You're not new. People that are newer, I'll cut some slack to and tell them where they can find the deck list. Everybody else should know better. Huh. Holy crap. Man, that's a lot of lanes in a row. So they're gonna saw it coming here off of this, but I'm committed to making this play. I just need to spend my mana. I need to get through this counterspell. Creature land, Lambton. I believe it. I believe in you. Alright, put some more lands into play. So we're dead. I think we've died.
Surprisingly flexible. Consider this a warning.
I think we could have beaten like 2 of these 3, maybe not the Shark Typhoon in general. If they had missed on this, we probably would have been okay because we could kill this. I guess on the off chance this isn't a counterspell, it's probably a counterspell. We could draw an Ugin.
Proceed in my stead, Planeswalker. Power with
Could be take an extra. To be fair, I don't think we beat the take an extra turn card with the Shark Typhoon out either. Hey, what's going on, Panda? Thanks for the half a year. Yeah, call time's been fine. Eldraine is what it is, but there's some neat things going on. I don't know. I might come back to this one. I'm going to shelve this for now because I want to play some games with Sultai, which has some similar things going on. Where are we at? Is it this one? Alright, so if you're watching this on YouTube and you want to see this deck be played, I'm going to click over and play some Sultai.